Uh,
Oh, sorry.
mind.
I'm sorry. Do you? I didn't know. Is there
It's.
something? Does that do with the tribal or? We're good. Okay.
I'm just gonna quick say, juror's gonna have 5 to 10 minutes. Pretty simple. They're not gonna be going in boot order. They have different orders, and I just wanted to say good luck to all three of you. You all are very deserving, and I'm so excited to see how this goes. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
All right. So, Antonio Bradley McCall, as you know, you made it as far as you can in this game, and your power now does shift to the jury. Everyone knowing we did have them do previous opening statements, so we are going to go ahead and jump right into the questioning. And we are going to go ahead and just start right away with this person was the first person voted out of our double tribal council of the merge. Please welcome back John Dennis.
Hello, everyone. So, first off, I wanted to say I love all three of you. Congratulations on making it here. Whatever I say and statements after my question is strictly what I saw game-wise. All right? Cool. Okay, so is everybody able to close their eyes? Okay, you should know what this thing is. It is, I will go over each jury member and you will raise your hand if you feel like you have their vote. So we will start with Tristan. If you feel like you have Tristan's vote, raise your hand. Okay. Ingrid. All right. Let's go with Mike. All right. Let's go with me. Okay. Gabby. Okay. Let's go with Bobby. Okay. Frank. Rachel. Okay. Fred. And Mandy. All right. Thank you so much. Now I have a statement for all three of you. You can open up your eyes. Okay, McCall, I will start with you. Like I said, this is not me hating on you. This is just what I perceived in the game. Okay. You and I will touch base on stuff because I actually watched your full thing. Like I feel like I'm one of the few ones that actually watched all 22 minutes of it. So I will say do this. You said you had plans to like take me out on the original swap tribe, etc., etc. Then it got switched to Galen, etc. So the move that you were thinking of was going to originally happen didn't, that you had originally talked about. Any moves that you did, quote unquote, have, it felt like Frank was also involved. So I don't really see anything that you did by yourself. And you often said that you had plans of doing something and other things once the merge happened that didn't get done. Nobody was saved that you wanted to get saved. Nobody went home that you really wanted to go home, except for the Gabby thing, which all of us knew was going to happen. All of us knew the Mike thing was going to happen. I know for a fact that myself and Antonio and Mandy had talked about Mike going that round that Mike went right after the Ingrid vote. So, it wasn't that I wouldn't see that the mic vote was a move, and you emphasize that as yours and Frank's move in your speech. So I feel like, yes, you had some power in this game, but I feel like it was only because you were aligned with Frank, and Frank was aligned with the majority of the power players. You know?
Okay.
That's my statement for you. Bradley, you are next. Bradley, you are a lovely human being. I appreciated every single one of our conversations on the original tribe. I feel like once merge hit, you had no idea what was going on in the game, really. I feel like you just asked Antonio what you should do, and that's what ended up happening for majority of the time. I want both you and McCall to prove me wrong on these statements, but that is what I've done. Yes, you did amazing in physical stuff, but a lot of people said you didn't talk to them very much. So both you and McCall need to, I'm almost done, Jay. Just need to prove why you deserve to win a little bit more than the last person, Antonio. You cut people. You made final twos with people. You did all this stuff. You pissed a lot of people off. Me, you did not. Me, I saw you as a true ally. You never fucked me over. You talked to me about everything. Do I think that you would have cut me eventually? Yes, I do. But I would have respected it. I feel like anybody who doesn't respect what you were doing and a game ways really needs to open up their ears and open up their eyes to see exactly what you were doing. Because honestly, out of the three, right now, you have my vote. And I feel like you played the best game.
All right. Thank you, John. Are you good? Okay.
Oh, wait. I got one more thing to say. Thank you, new Noah. Next person.
I knew that was coming. All right. Next up, we do have our second half of the double. Gabby, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Before I get into the hard questions, I wanted to have my ego stroked a little bit. So, because I'm a narcissistic bitch and I love compliments. So I want all three of you to tell me one non-game related thing you love about me.
About you?
Yeah. Not game related.
I know. I will say straight up, like, I said this in my rites of passage, and the fact that, like, I think that you're one of the most genuine people I've ever met in this community. Straight up. Like, you're not afraid to be yourself. You're extremely kind to people. You're extremely smart and funny. Like, everything that I idolize in a person that I would consider a true friend is what you have inside of you. And it's something that, like, I want to learn to, like, more embellish on myself as well. So it's just like a lot of the things that you carry on yourself is something that I want to become as well. That's me being blunt, and that's me being completely honest with you.
So I'll go next. For me, Gabby, it would have to definitely be your sense of humor. So, we've played multiple games together and, we have voted each other out. But this time, up until the point where you did go, I actually got to play this game with you. So getting to like build that connection to sit and talk with you on the phone and crack jokes and talk about what's going on in the game, really, because I'm a person who likes to laugh. So getting on that, having those moments where we're genuinely laughing about things that aren't even game related. For me, I enjoyed that the most about you when I got to play with you this season.
All right, a non-game related. would have to be your personality. I would also have to say your style. And one thing about the game, though, I really wish we could have got to know a little more about each other, because we have played 3 games together. So that's the only thing that I think that I would love out of the game that I know.
Okay, now to my more specific questions. McCall, I mean, you seem to be very under the radar, but like, I don't really know what you did in the game. So can you please try to tell me a move that was more your doing than anyone else's and that you were just following along with?
Yep, that's a very good question. And I want to like explain this a little bit more about, like I said in like my opening statement, the reason why I didn't do it is like in a lot of different games that I played, like I am a lot more out there strategically. A lot of people can vouch for that. And what happens? I get targeted mid to late merge. I get blindsided right out of the game. So that's kind of something I wanted to try on this game, is to more have like these meat shields in front of me. Like Antonio was kind of a shield, John was a shield, Frank was a shield. Like I have like shields all around me. As for a move I did in the game, like there was like a really good thing, because like Antonio and Bradley apparently had like some deal with Fred at one point in the game, and I had to convince them that taking out Fred at the final 5 was in their best interest at the point, because if they didn't do it, then Fred would have just won the game right out of the box, because of the fact that they would have maybe gone with that deal, and it would have ended their game straight out there.
All right, Bradley. Like challenge wise, no denying that you are amazing. The challenge beast of the season, but it takes more than that to win. So what did you do aside from being amazing in challenges?
I did make sure to make relationships with people that talk to me, and they did carry. That's why I am here. It wasn't just over one person. So I was protected as well throughout the game. So, I did build relationships in this game, and I did fight to be where I am now. So, there have been, and just to, clarify with what John said as well, there were about 3 or 4 times when Antonio wasn't even talking at all, and we had to make decisions without him. So it wasn't just me feeding off Antonio the whole game. I did do my best throughout the whole game to be where I am now.
All right, Antonio, I want to touch on one thing you said in your opening statement, that you hope no one takes this personally, but you and I both know that if I had been the one to promise you a final 3 since day 1, and constantly told you that I was with you, made you feel comfortable, said that you had changed, said that I had changed, I was never going to write your name down, and then I turned around and blindsided you, that you would be very justifiably upset at me and consider not voting for me. So why, under all these circumstances, should I vote for you?
So at the position of the game where you went out, right? I still had the Hydra's head. Frank had came to me so after tribal that night, me and you got on the phone. You said you wanted to go after Rachel. Going after Rachel at the time really wasn't good for me. So after I got off the phone with you, I got on the phone with Frank, and Frank came to me and said he wants to go after Gabby, or he wants to go after you. Okay, so now and then he's telling me that Rachel also wants to go after you. Before the split and before we weren't able to talk to the other side, I was already chatting with Bradley, and he was telling me that Bobby and Fred were looking to come after me, after my advantage is expired. So that's another reason I didn't play the advantage that night. And it just made it easier moving forward. So I just wasn't looking at the round. I was looking at, long term. So long term in that moment, it just wasn't good for me to keep you.
All right, even though I would appreciate a heads up, at least that I was going out. But anyway, good move, good game.
All right. Thank you, Gabby. Next up, we do have Mike.
No, I'm not using this. I also had a microphone. My light went out, so we're not going to use it. But yeah, hello. My name's Mike. It's nice to meet you all. So this is the most I get to talk all game. If you know, you know. No. First of all, I do want to say congratulations, Final Three. And I think we're going to get spicy for my question. So POV, it's a final two. You have final immunity. Who are you cutting and why? And I would like to start with Antonio on that question.
So POV, so Big Brother was okay. So I would
Or
cut
Survivor.
probably I would cut Bradley, you know. It's my closest ally. He's the one people would not expect me to cut. He, I believe, out of the three of us sitting here, has the next biggest resume, comparatively. So it would be him.
Interesting. I'll go to Bradley next on that one. You have final immunity. Who do you cut and why?
I believe that out of the three in the game, I would most definitely just stay true with Antonio. So I would have to cut you. But yeah, there's my answer. Michael.
Excellent. And McCall?
Okay, so for me, if I was at final immunity, there's two different sides of.
Did McCall freeze for anyone else or just me?
No,
Yeah,
he's frozen.
He's definitely frozen.
Ah, the suspense.
It's killing us.
All right. Sorry about that. My computer suddenly decided to crash on me for no reason. But no, back to what I was saying. Like, for me personally, it would have been a tough call because of the fact that both of them played vastly different games from one another. Of the two, though, I would actually cut Antonio at the very, very end, only because of the fact that I do believe that, like, while Bradley did win a lot of individual immunities, like, I do feel like, in a sense, that what was said so far is right, and that Bradley basically, we basically told him how he votes that way, and that's it. He doesn't really have much of a strategic bone besides with Antonio. So I would have cut Antonio at the final three, take Bradley to the end, and I think I would have had a lot better shot to win the game between me and him. I love him to death, but that's just facts in my opinion.
All right. I wouldn't count yourself out that quickly. Don't sell your. My advice here is definitely don't sell yourself short. I think you played phenomenally.
I'm
that
not.
being said, I do have a lot of time to still waste here, which is I'd say my biggest move in the game is I feel like I wasted a lot of people's time, especially by not talking. No, I'm just kidding. My mind's pretty much made up, I think, but I can be swayed by the best Perry the Platypus impression. Bonus points if you do it during someone else's question, though.
I try to do that.
Like I said, bonus points if you can incorporate that into someone else's question, though. How much time do I even have left?
You have a good 5 minutes. You want to go?
Oh, that's hot. If I had a nickel for every time I talk to one of you, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Good luck.
All right. Next up, we do have the first member of our jury. They went out first round. Please welcome back Tristan. Is Tristan in here?
Tristan's in here.
Tristan? Question mark.
Is he still at work or something?
Maybe. I mean, I could read Rachel's questions in the meantime. Until Tristan comes up, or oh, there he is. Okay.
Hey guys. Hold on, let me put this right here. Wow, haven't seen you guys in a minute. Honestly, I just want to say real quick to start out, as you guys have seen throughout the entire pre-merge game, I'm as competitive as anybody. But it's fun. Well, of course, I was mostly good for the physical game, but sorry. As far as strategic play goes, you 3 played the best game out of all of us, and you deserve to be sitting in the end. I'd like to start out with a statement to each of you. And I'm going to start with Bradley. So Bradley, the first time that you and I have met was when we swapped to the new Encanto tribe. And I think, even though we've spent probably a short amount of time together, I feel like I have really been able to connect a little bit with you. And I just wish that we had some more time to talk, but of course, the game happens, and you end up having to do what you got to do. So just know that I have a lot of respect for you.
Thank you so
Nicole.
much. And as I do
You're
for
welcome.
you.
What was that?
I said, as I do for you. Thank
Okay, thank you. Nicole.
Hi.
Hey, it's been a while since we've played a game together. And so I was really excited when we merged, and I've got to finally speak to you since we haven't gotten to in the entire pre-merge stage. But unfortunately, with tribals being like real soon after the immunity challenges, it just was a little tougher. But I want to say, especially for the jury, I feel like out of the three of you, Nicole is probably the one that is underestimated the most. There are times where jurors have said, "Oh, Nicole's going to be joining us next," and yet here he is sitting in the end. There's the thing about Nicole, because I've played plenty of games with him, and I love you. Don't get offended with what I say here.
I know.
You may not. You may not be the best when it comes to the challenges, but one thing about you is that you're smart. Like, you play a much better strategic game than I do. And I know that for a fact. So, and plus, the fact that you won the fire making challenge is beyond impressive. And I think that you definitely deserve to be sitting here in the end.
Thank you very much.
Antonio, my OG Moana brother. I still love you to death. Like, after I was voted out by the three of you, I was like thinking, my relationship with Antonio is obviously going to remain. I still love him to death. And, but, when we started this game, I wanted to create an alliance, like an alliance chat with you, me, and Gabby. And I never did, because I don't really make alliance chats anymore due to the fact that it always screws me over. But knowing you from the games that we play together, you are a fantastic game player, and you do deserve to sit here in the end. So,
Thank you.
one thing I do want to ask to each of you is, Just really short and simple. You can give like maybe a short reasoning if you want. If you could pick someone from the jury, or maybe someone who's voted out before jury, to sit in the end besides yourself, who would it be and why? And Bradley, I'll start with you.
So if it wasn't me, I would have picked Mandy.
Okay. Nicole.
Okay. I'll be completely real. Like, this is a really tough question because I'm not even like trying to kiss anyone's ass on this. Like, I think that like you can make a complete argument for every single one of you 10 to be sitting here at the end. If I had to pick one, to be honest, I think it would be John. I think that John played an extremely, extremely good game and just got really, really unlucky with his, delineation during the split.
Well, just remember, just quick reminder, John, just use they, them pronouns, please.
Okay, thank you. But like, John was really screwed by this twist. And the fact that Fred had a knowledge of power. Like, I do believe, like, if he was on the other side and he survived, there's not a doubt in my mind. I think he sits here in the end. I truly do believe he had the potential to win this game, but just got really, really unlucky by that wheel.
Once again, just a reminder, John uses they, them pronouns.
They got really lucky. My bad. I'm not really good at they as a pronoun. That's my bad.
Neither am I, man. But I do like your answer. Antonio.
Okay, so for me, it would have to be Fred, hands down. I think everybody, I believe, has played a great game, right? In some aspect. But I think even out of everybody on the jury and this three here, he has the best game. He came into the merge in the numbers. You were from his side. Ingrid who was potentially his number one. And once Ingrid went, he went to work, like it's not going to be Fred. That's what he did. And he made sure all the way up to 5 where nobody had immunity. It wasn't him. His name wasn't coming up in votes. He played really from a side, but was also in the middle because nobody wanted to go after him. And then Final 5 happened. But hands down, it's Fred.
All right. Very good answers. Once again, you guys played a great game. And right now, guys, my vote is live for any of you. I still have not made my complete decision. And so I am going to listen from the other jurors and also you as you guys continue to answer our questions. And by the end, I will have my vote decided. So with that being said, good luck to all three of you, and may the best man win.
All right, next we have up Ingrid.
Hello, final three. It is an interesting final three for me as a juror because I first got to talk to all three of you at the merge, and less than 48 hours later, I was voted out. So this is a very interesting situation for me personally. I do want to start by actually asking something a little similar to what Gabby did. As a member of the Team Julia Rowe fan club, whatever you want to call it, I too enjoy knowing that people know things about me. And because we had such a limited time to get to know each other, I do want to see if each one of you could tell me something you learned about me during this game that is not what I do for a living. Any of you can go first.
I would like to say it was good getting to know you.
Yeah.
You are a music teacher. So I do want to say that it's been really cool to get to know you throughout the game, and I do appreciate you and messaging me back when I do message you. So So it's good to see you here.
So I'll go next. And I'll be completely honest. I won't. I'm not going to BS it.
Yeah.
We didn't have that time to make that connection at all. And I guess at a point it falls on me, and it falls on both of us a little bit because communication. But I guess sitting here, it falls more on me, and I apologize for that because I was probably a little game bot. I'll be honest, because I can be very competitive. So I apologize for not giving you that opportunity.
I appreciate that.
And I am kind of the same thing, but like the fact of the matter is just like we just really didn't have enough time. Like we have talked about like what you do for a living. Like you have like mentioned that you're more of a singer, and the fact that you are a music teacher. And like we talked a little bit about the instruments and music and stuff like that. And that's kind of one of the things I've learned about you. I would have wished I could have learned a lot more about you, but unfortunately, from the way that the game played out, like there just wasn't enough time, and I fully take ownership for my own faults of the fact that I didn't do a better job. And hopefully after this game, regardless what happens, maybe we can reconcile and talk more about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that from all three of you. And then I do want to ask something of Antonio, and if either of the two others have something to chime in about it after Antonio answers, you are welcome to. As far as I'm aware, all three of you voted me out. And while that was more expected from Bradley and McCall because we were not aligned, there was an alliance made that included Antonio and myself, and we had a little bit of a buddy system call, and I have since been told that my name was the vote before that ever even happened. And so I just kind of want to know where your head was at with that, and like how that came to be and why you kind of like put me through that, because learning that today kind of put a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, and I just want to hear what you have to say in regards to that.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So I would say probably the night before the call was made. I may have the timing a little off, so excuse that.
Yeah.
So the night before the call was made, Tristan just went. Everybody's talking about the vote, and we're talking about what to do next. So I'm on a call with Frank, and it's me, Frank, chatting, and he tells me, Fred has told me Ingrid is his number one, and Fred was open about it. So,
and that is absolutely true.
Right. And so to pull Fred closer, you had to be the one to go. So me and Frank discussed it. We agree. He says he can get McCall on board. I say I can get Bradley on board. And then we say Mandy, John, and Gabby will probably vote with us. So Fred wanted that group call to happen. He pushed it. And then Frank was like, yes, let's get on this call. Let's make them feel comfortable. And then the rest just played out.
Yeah, I just felt a little bit like icky about it in the sense that like it reminded me a lot of like the Boston Rob buddy system gone wrong in Winners at War, where it was like, okay, everybody stay here, make sure the vote stays the same. And like, I'm very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I'm proud that you guys were able to pull off such a blindside, because there has never been a time in my org career that I have been like truly floored that I was the vote, except for that night. So like kudos to you all for that. I give respect and credit where it's due. I just felt a little icky about like I wasn't allowed to go anywhere and strategize, and I was staying true to that. when you guys already knew what was going to happen. So that just like kind of left a little bit of an ick in my mouth. That's not like I'm not like my vote is still very open. I just wanted to see if you would address that for me. So thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, for sure. Whatever you need,
Appreciate it. Do either of you have anything to add to that?
I will say that like one of the things that was interesting is that your name was also in a sense sort of like brought up like even in the previous round. So it wasn't like the fact that only got this one round for you that your name was on the chopping block. Like your name was at least considered during the Tristan round before it ultimately did land solely on Tristan. Because like that track could just not go anywhere but just going on Tristan because he was such a beast at that one challenge that literally the entire game was frightened to face him in any physical challenge or they would have lost. And so like there was like a couple names like mentioned during that round. Like Bradley's name was mentioned, Rachel's name was mentioned, your name was mentioned. But like it ultimately did end up on Tristan, but like I feel like it was also kind of like a continuation from that previous round that just like, okay, it's probably Rachel, but which one? And then it just ended up going on to you. That was the perspective on my point of view.
I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for the honesty. Bradley, did you want to say anything?
So yes, so what Antonio is true. He did come to me and say that the vote was pointed towards you. Majority vote is pointed towards you. So if I wanted to vote for somebody else, it's not even going to count anyways. So I mean, I did do what everybody else was doing because we had to do what we had to do, and I'm sorry.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, congratulations to the three of you. You did way more than I could. And I truly think that all of you have a game that you should be proud of. And keep fighting. I think any of you could win it.
All right. Next up, we do have Fred.
All right. Hello. It's really hard. I'm going to start with Antonio. It's really hard not to be bitter. It's really hard not to be bitter with you right now. One thing that really annoys me in these games is unnecessary lying. We were at Final 5. There was no advantages. There was nothing I could have done. Yet you blindside me. Like, I get it. It's a perfectly good move. However, I don't see why you lied and didn't tell me that like you're going home, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And I mean that's it. That's all there is to it. I mean, you could respond, but
I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't give you that, but I guess in that moment there is no advantages. I'm going to you, telling you, you're going home. Yes, I give you that respect, but on the back end, I guess I'm thinking Fred is going to try to pull these votes against me. So why make this any harder than what it has to be?
I mean,
so that I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, but that was just my way of thinking in that moment.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, like I said, game move, I get it, but like I said, some unnecessary lying there, and yeah, but okay, Bradley, played amazingly good physically, strategically, I think we're lacking a little bit, and that's okay, like that's perfectly okay. I want you, to go through. So there was one vote where Antonio wasn't there, and that was on the John vote. I want you to go through your strategy on that vote without Antonio there.
Okay. So my strategy is if somebody says majority vote is going somewhere, I'm going for that vote. So there's plenty of different strategies that you can say is the absolute best way to do it. but all strategies are all strategies. And I believe that my strategy got me to where I am. So, so the strategy I did was I went with the major vote.
Okay. And may I ask why you went with me and Bobby instead of John and Mandy? Because you would have had majority if you went with John and Mandy as well.
So John and Mandy is because they never messaged me. They never messaged me. John had posted in the main chat that he wasn't that he was not going to talk game to anybody. And then I did try messaging Mandy, but she did not message me. So, you know, I felt like there was going to be an advantage of some sort going to be played. So I did not vote for them with them. So
Okay.
that was strategic moves. So yeah.
Okay. No, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Nicole.
What's up?
I don't really have a question for you. I just want to say, like, the jury is absolutely right. The jury said, like, you were going home on multiple occasions. I read through everything. And you're still here. So that's very impressive.
Votes.
Exactly. So, in order for me to vote you, I need you to outshine Antonio. I need you to outshine Antonio in order for you to get my vote. And this is me trying to help you. And this is me trying to, like, just give you the push you need. And yeah.
I respond to that to a degree.
Okay.
Like, to be honest, like, I truly do believe that I played one of the best games here. I truly do believe that from the bottom of my heart. Went through, while people think that I was with Frank, which is sort of correct, I was going to cut Frank at some point in this game. It wasn't going to be when he did, but I did have plans on doing it. What my entire plan was from day one of this game was to find shields in this game that I knew that I could hide behind, so that who becomes a bigger threat, if they're going to go after it, the one who was. John was a bigger threat than me. They were going to target him over me. Frank was going to target him over me. Antonio, if there was a point, was going to target him over me. I think that my strategy worked very, very well. I was able to get information through everywhere in the game. I was able to be on every side of the boat except that one boat with Frank. I was able to get through the entire game of so much chaos without no votes, nothing, with no immunity, no advantages. I got here on my own through my own strategy. I don't know what else that can be said. I did it to get here because I want to win. That's why. Antonio wasn't here for 3 votes. I was here every time. I kept on strategizing. I kept on socializing. And I gave it all my shots at every single immunity. I want this. And I do believe that I have outshined these two in my own special way. And that's why I think that I am a deserving winner of these 3.
Wow. Okay. That's a great response. I mean, that's a great response. But unless anyone else wants to respond to that,
I did also say I didn't have to lie to get where I am. I played a really good game. I did get to know people, and I did make relationships, and I didn't have to lie to get to where I am. I was protected by many people. Many people wanted to contact me and keep me in the game. So that's how I got where I am.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's all I have. Keep fighting hard. All 3 of you deserve a win here. Make it clear for us. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Good luck, y'all.
Thank you, Fred. Before we call on the next person, before Jay calls on the next person, I'm just going to make one more statement one more time. I don't care if you're good at it or not. It's something you need to do. So please, 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 just try your best to respect everyone's given pronouns.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Yes, we have told you guys multiple times, so we're just asking, please, please, we will stop into your middle of your speeches and correct you at this point. Just please be respectful. And yes, please, we beg you. With that being said, this person asked me to address them with something else, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Would Rachel's new best friend please come on?
Well, hello.
Oh,
All right, so I don't know which one y'all want to start with. I'll start with Bradley. So Bradley, you raised your hand for pretty much everybody in here that you had their vote. Just a heads up, the jury is not leaning towards you. So you're also going to need to prove it, just like Nicole just did. As for me, I loved how honest and loyal you played towards me. And as someone who is also a challenge beast, I do appreciate the challenge wins that you did have this season. Unfortunately, my vote currently right now is between the other two, though. I don't believe anybody should be a 0 vote finalist if they're in the final 3. But there's someone here that I can address that to a little later on. That's pretty much all I got to say, Bradley, is just pretty much prove yourself, stick up for your game, and we need to hear something besides that you went with the main vote. So my next statement would be towards Nicole.
wow.
Obviously, addressing you with the 0 vote finalist when, as someone who didn't play under the radar like you, you say you were 100% honest with me in this game. Yes, you told me that I was the vote. I already knew I was the vote because of Bradley. So I was already prepared to use the idol. But for you to actually know that Frank was using the nullifier, I would have appreciated it more if you were just honest, because there's really no blocking that. There's nothing I could pretty much do. And you know how I play. I play very loyal and honest, and I would have probably willed it to you if you were just straight up with me and would have gave you the idol. Fred was in a decent spot with having an advantage. If you were straight up with me, I would have probably passed it to you. Or also, if you were made the move on Frank there and we could have flipped it on Frank, I could have gave you the idol as well. So that's the only thing that I didn't agree with. That, yes, I understand why you had to, but again, you played with me before, so.
Can I respond a little bit to that, or no?
Yeah, of course.
So, since there's 2 points that you pointed out of, like, you didn't have to lie and you didn't have to do it. The one of the thing with that line thing is, like, I knew that during the start of the merge, what Jay said is that anything voted out in someone's bucket that was bought from that menu is going to go back to the game. So when Fred stole Mandy's immunity idol, one of the things I was fearful of, basically, the fact that, like, Fred would then play, or at least try to play the idol for you after your idol goes blasted. So the one thing I wanted to try to do is try to convert the situation so that is much of a likely scenario if that was to happen. The second thing about it is, like, why didn't you get rid of Frank at the final 8? And to be honest, like, it wouldn't have been good for my game. Yes, you are an extremely loyal player, and so is Fred. The problem with this is the fact that you, in this part of this game, were 2 big underdogs where if either of you got to the end, you had a really good shot to win the game. So I knew that 100%, even though I thought about taking the move of Frank, I needed to wait just a little bit longer. Like, I even thought about, like, final 6 or final 5 to get rid of Frank. But right now at Final 8 was not going to work for me because Frank was still a shield for me in this game. So that is the reason why I didn't do either of those things. I'm sorry if I hurt you by lying, but that is legitimately where my head was at during those rounds.
All right. And just so you know, I hate under the radar games, by the way. And lastly, Antonio. So, just wondering why I wasn't a recipient of one of your mini Final Threes, as a lot of the jury members were, because you should know that you're one of the main reasons I came back into the game when I left, and that I wanted to work with you from day one, even before we even were swapped or merged at all. And I feel like you already knew that before, and just wondering why we could never link up.
So, and honestly, and you know, I adore you as a person, Bobby. But I think that
Debatable.
I'm sorry.
I said debatable.
I do. I genuinely do. Oh my gosh. But I think maybe that first phone call after the merge, that like the next day, I don't know, I guess just analyzing from a game point, like I wasn't comfortable getting off of the phone after that. And that's probably why at that moment, up until where you left, I had like this shield up, like this wall. I knew in some capacity that I did still want to work with you, but I just didn't know how closely. And then after the incident, where Fred comes to me, he's telling me that you told about the advantage, you know, I really at that point, like that was really kind of it for me. So yeah.
All right. And just one last question to all of y'all. If we were playing paper, rock, scissors, what would y'all choose?
We're on scissors.
Honestly, like I know that like statistically a lot of people like scissors first, so I would like to go with rock.
I would have to say paper because I'm not violent.
All right.
So
That's all I have.
All right. Next up, we do have a video from Frank.
I think you have it on mute.
Yeah, we can't hear it.
Yeah, I see that thing. It's like there's an X on that volume thing, I think. Oh, never mind.
Still nothing.
What volume?
Elijah, you see this bottom right hand corner?
My Zoom is covering.
Yep.
Okay, we're good, I think.
I can't be there tonight. I'm gonna do this video. Congratulations, Final Three. You guys did something we all wanted to do, and just want to say congrats. Now, my question is for all three of you. Ignore my kids, sorry. Which boot was the toughest boot for you? Like, which person you cut during this game was the hardest for you? Not something you were blindsided on, but someone you physically had a hand in voting out. Good luck to you guys, and I'm excited to vote on a winner. Okay, just in case I can't.
So I can go first. I think the hardest vote for me, honestly, was probably Fred. I really came to enjoy Fred, talking to him on the phone, long calls of paranoia, him making me comfortable, strategizing, like, because he sees the game how I see it, you know? So when it was time, when that moment came, it was probably the hardest for me, and that's probably why I really couldn't tell him. But it would be Fred.
For me, I don't even think that there's a second place for me. Like, legitimately, from the bottom of my heart, like, and the only reason this happened was because of a call out, and that's Gabby. Like, there's been so many games that we played together that we really wanted to work together, but due to like circumstances with like alliances, or like we never got onto like a swap tribe, we never got to work together ever. And I wanted so badly to play with you in this game, and I really, really enjoyed it, but due to the protection of my own game and not like wanting to risk the Bonnaroo like curse to maybe hit me in this game, like I had to go on getting you out of this game because I didn't want to risk anything like happening. And it really breaks my heart because I know how much Gabby loves this game, how much she loves like musical stuff. So it really, really hurt me to do Gabby, especially when she was like blindsided too. So for me, like that's my clear answer. It's 100% Gabby.
For me, I would say Fred, because I heard that he was going to vote me. So I went on and I wrote down and submitted my vote for Fred, and then I heard that other people were voting Fred. So I do apologize for voting you, Fred, but you know, you were going to vote for me. So that's the reason why I had to do what I had to do.
All right. And next up, we do have the last member of jury. Welcome back, Mandy.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Love-
Queen.
Hello.
Lovely to see all of your beautiful faces. This is a really hard vote for me tonight because I worked pretty closely with all three of you. I have seen how all of you played your game, and I think you all played an amazing game, but they were all very different games. I really, you know, I guess my question would be the same for all three of you, and it would just be like, what is your sell to me to get my vote? So not trying to get anyone else's, like, you need my vote. What would be your sell to me? And anyone can answer in any order that they'd like.
So for me, coming to the game, I see you on the cast reveal. I tell myself I want to work with Mandy. So I finally get to you. We're in the swap. We're talking, and you tell me that night on the phone, you know, you had the Mulan idol. And sorry, my phone is dying. Instantly, I'm sold to you. Like, and then once you passed it to me, I was ready to ride with you the rest of the game. Honestly, at Final Four, if I would have won, which was what I tried to do, but you know, Bradley stood on the middle of that highway, girl, and he just did it anyway. I would have chose you. Like, I would have took you to the end with me. I think out of the four that were left, you probably had the next best game next to me. But you know, I just enjoy you as a person and the connection that we made. But yeah, that's it.
Oh, I love you. Thank you for saying that.
I know.
Next.
I guess I'll go next if that's okay. So, I want to start off on this by like saying, like, I'll be completely real. When I saw you in the cast reveal, there was two emotions in my head: excitement and absolute fucking fear. Because of what happened back in Jake with All Stars, where that incident happened. But as the game moved along, like, my heart
for you like grew exponentially every single round, every time. And like you became like someone like I can like tend to and like talk to whenever needs to be. And like for me, like seeing us in that fire making challenge broke my heart, because it's like there's two sides of me, because it's kind of like we have like this Tony Sarah kind of relationship, or like I was like the Tony just like I'm back in Jake with, but like in this one I was literally on the verge of crying when you got eliminated because of fire. I hated that moment so fucking much, because it's like I'm either losing fourth place again, or I'm sending someone that I really care about home. And that really fucking hurt me. I've been loyal to you ever since the start. I can not really say the same with one of the people who really just lied, apparently. But for me, like, it's pretty much like an entire story throughout this entire thing. Like, we have like a rocky relationship in Jake with. We worked extremely well together here. Me and you, we formed the Easter Bunnies together. And we like dug and like bounced our way all the way to 7, found a way to 4, almost made it to 3, and had to separate at the final 3 in the most heartbreaking way. So I think it's more the fact of our story and the fact that like that's the perfect way for it to end in a way. So I really hope I get it, but if I don't, I understand.
I do have to say that I was very, very excited to see that I was going to be playing with you, Mandy. And I'm sorry for what did happen. We have played 3 games together. Our first one, you know how it was, we weren't able to really talk much. The second one, we weren't able to again. But this one right here, we really did get to bond. We did get to talk, which I really appreciated. We did make a pact that we would sit there and get to know each other. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And I do want to go on and let you know that the reason why I did vote you is because you voted for me. And I do apologize. But the one thing I'm going to ask you is, because you voted me, can you vote me again, please? I didn't want it, nor have I lied to anybody. Whenever you did ask me or anybody of who I was voting for, most of the time I did tell people who I was voting for, because that's who I was going to vote for. And I know that people ask around people do that, majority of the vote, it does go to majority most of the time, definitely if you're in the right side of things. So I would like you to vote for me because you voted for me, and we were able to connect and get to know each other and talk about the game this time. So that's one reason why I think I deserve your vote, because we did do we did not talk, and then we talked, and it was really fun to get to know you.
I thought it was really fun talking to you too, and I don't think you owe me any apologies at all. 100%. I voted for you. You voted for me. It was, it is what it is. I voted for you because I respected your game so much. And I was most fearful that you would be offended or think I thought anything other. So no apologies needed. I adore all 3 of you. I appreciate everything all 3 of you said. Nicole, same to you. I was trying to unmute and I didn't unmute in time. So that's why I didn't say anything after your speech. But I do appreciate how loyal you were this whole game. You really did play the game with me. And I really did trust you every time we talked. I never questioned you. And I'm never going to hold past games against anyone. My fear with Bradley when I came in was I was worried Bradley was going to not want to work with me because what I had done to him in the past. And my fear with you was kind of like, oh, I hope he doesn't go for me again. But I was never trying to go for either of you because of past games. So just wanted that to be clear. But I think all of you are great. All of y'all played great games. I'm really excited to see how this ends. And I'm really proud of you guys and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we do have the last juror coming up right now. So Rachel, if you want to go ahead and come on.
Yes, give me 1 second so I can park my car so I'm not driving and getting in another car accident. Okay. Hi. Okay, I'm here. So my first question is going to be for McCall. Sorry if I'm still on camera or not. I'm trying to read from my notes.
All right, fair enough.
So McCall, I felt you had my back in the majority of the game, which I definitely appreciate. However, when it came to me being voted out and I just asked you to admit it to me and you just decided not to respond and kind of left me in the dark, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way as a juror. But I just wanted to know what your reasoning behind this was and if you think that it's going to be a beneficial point for me wanting to vote for you, as it did rub me the wrong way.
I'm actually really glad you brought this up because there is a legitimate, because like I swear to you on my sister's life, I actually have a sister. I swear to you on her life, I did want to go for Fred for that round. There was a big reason why I couldn't. And you can thank these two right beside me for this because of the fact that, first of all, I knew that Fred and Mandy were 100% going to vote for you. Okay, so that's 2 votes for you, 1 for Fred, right? So I tried to communicate with both of these people for literally, and note that the tribal for that round was 8:15, right? I got a message from Bradley at 8:10 saying your name, and I'm just like, okay, there's no shot I can get this to work now. And then at the voting booth, Antonio said your name, so it's just like, yeah, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do no matter what I do. So and I did like message you like something like very close to the fact that like I don't think it's gonna work. I think there was like something close to that happening. And I really, really wanted to do it. I did. I just could not get the support to do it. So I'm very sorry if you felt hurt. I'm very sorry that if you felt like that's the thing. I really wanted to make it work, but at the end of the day, we just couldn't. And even if we did get the votes, it wouldn't have done anything anyways, because Fred, in all his glory, plays a Sign Me Zile with Mandy, and he would have been safe regardless. So yeah, once again, I'm sorry, but like I really did try. But there was nothing I could have done when I heard that there was 3 votes on you. I'm just like, yeah, there's nothing I could do.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, it was final 6. Everyone had to flush their idols anyway. So I felt like I was going home regardless. I just would have kind of liked a response or a heads up being like, yeah, like the votes are falling on you.
Yeah, I think I tried to do it. Like, and I guess I didn't like express it well enough, which is on me. I tried to express it, but I just did it wrong.
Yeah. Thank you. Next question is for Antonio. We are like, from the beginning, we were on the same tribe, and I felt you had my back. But you, I mean, as well as I said in my exit speech, like I was upset that I didn't get in the know that you were voting for me because I didn't really expect it from you. But besides the point, I want you to tell me a move you made that changed the course of the game and or made the game for you go in your favor.
It will probably have to be the Frank vote when we voted Frank out. The night before, I sat on the phone with Fred, and it was burning on my face, and Fred could tell. I was like, I want to do something dastardly tomorrow, and I was in the moment. I was like, but I can't. I didn't want to say it because you say the name, then the votes get thrown on you. You go hump. Mm-hmm. So he kind of looked me in the face and he said, "You want to go for Frank?" And I was like, "Yes, absolutely." So. Because Frank getting past 7 sets Frank up for the remainder of the game. Nobody's going for him. That's why we didn't tell, McCall that we were going for Frank that round, because he was going to tell him. He even said himself that round he would not have went for him. So,
that's actually correct. You did.
But you did say that. But you did. And I didn't interrupt you, please. But yeah, flipping and voting Frank out definitely set the course up for the game for me. That helped me build even more trust with Fred because we did that plan together. And it catapulted me to the end.
Awesome, thank you. And then for Bradley, besides winning competitions, what other strategic moves did you make, and why do you think that you ended up here at the very end of the game? I don't know if anybody asked these questions or not. I'm just pulling them right out of my ass.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
absolutely fine. Throughout the whole game, I've made relationships with different people. I keep in contact with them. I sat there every single morning, messaging everybody good morning, and I hope you have a good day. People would message back, and we would have conversations, or we would not. What I would first say is for the vote, I would sit there and look at who did not contact me or want to build a relationship with me. I mean, that's what the game's about, correct? So, if I didn't feel like there was a connection, I would always let a couple of people know that, I'm not being talked to, and I would like to, and I would never get a message back. So when I would be told something and somebody would ask me, who are you voting for? I would say, I heard. I would never throw a name. So, I've never lied to anybody. I've stayed loyal to everybody that has been in contact with me. I believe that, yes, I did win challenges, but I did keep in contact with people. I was always here, and this really does mean a lot to me. I'm not good at talking, as you can clearly tell, but I've really had a good game. I feel like this is the best game I've ever played, and I have worked hard. And yes, it's not as great as other people, but I am here. I fought just as hard as every single person in here. I was not dirty to nobody. I was straight up and honest. And I believe that's what a winner should be. Somebody that was there, not underground or lying.
Guys, best of luck. I pretty much think I have my vote made up, but you guys all played better than all of us, clearly. So great job. Props to you. And now I'm going to finish driving home.
All right, thank you, Rachel. We are going to go into closing statements now. You have 3 minutes each. I will give you a 1 minute and a 2 minute warning. We are going to do it based on the order of my screen. So we have Antonio, Bradley, then McCall. So Antonio, and I will start each of it when you guys start talking. So Antonio, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Once again, thank you guys for, not holding back this evening. I appreciate that. That's what I wanted to see, and it's really what I expected. But when you take the emotion out of it, I just want you to look at my game from a game perspective, because that's all I was here to do. While I believe my two, adversaries encompassed one pillar of what Survivor is, maybe in a physical or a strategic aspect, I feel I was the most all-around player. And I did it pretty well, honestly. I was able to get this entire game, no votes against me, as I cast against me besides myself. That was on me. But all I ask, take the lying out of it, because this is a social manipulation game. So lying is a part of it. Just take that out and look at the game as a whole, and not just, he lied to me. That's all I ask. And I don't need the rest of the time. Thank you.
All right, Bradley, whenever you start talking, I'll start the timer. You're muted.
I am so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to have met every single one of you. my game that I played was very good from my point of view. You don't have to lie to win. I did slide through to home base, and I am here. I've always kept in contact with people, and I never once ignored y'all. I was always messaging back when you did. When you asked me what the vote was, I always told you what it was, and I've always been on y'all's side. But when you have to go to tribal, you have to make decisions, which I am sorry about. You know, I did work hard to get where I am. Yes, I did win the most challenges of any season, so I do feel happy about that, and I think that's another reason why I should win. You know, and that's my closing statement. You know, thank you for letting me play again.
All right, McCall, go ahead.
This experience for me has been like every single game I play has always meant a lot to me because of what this game has done for me overall. Like every time I play this game, like even in this game, like I had to backstab a lot of different people while having no bloods on my hand. I've got through the entire game, no votes, no immunities, no advantages, found a way to get to the end. I was able to get a lot of shields in front of me. I got Frank, I got John, I got Antonio. I had like all these shields all around me, all around. I knew where most of the advantages were in the game, with Gabby's advantage, John's advantage, Fred's advantage, Bobby's advantage, Antonio's advantage, Frank's advantage. I knew where most of the advantages were in this game. I was able to find a way to squeeze my way through many, many cracks to get to a position that I could really thrive by. And yes, I know a lot of people think that I was riding Frank's coattails, but that wasn't the case. I was making moves with him. I was able to make moves on my own by getting rid of Fred at the final 5 by convincing these two to vote for Fred and to do what's in their best interest. I was able to get through a lot of different things, like the Mike move, the Gabby move. I was able to do a lot of different things in this game because I love this game from the depths of my heart because of the fact of what this game has done to me. It's evolved me. It's made me into a sword and a shield. It's literally done more things in my life than I could ever dream. And for me in this game, one thing I want more than anything, I sat and thought 24/7 for 26 days thinking about this game. How do I get to the end? How can I win this game? Because I really, really want to win because of what this means to me. And I truly do believe I played an extremely good game overall. I hope you guys really appreciate the game that I played because I truly do believe that I outwitted, outplayed, and outlasted every single person here to get to the end when Antonio missed 3 votes and Bradley didn't really have a strategic bone. So I do believe that I did play a really good game overall, and that's all that there is to it. So I hope you guys consider me to be the winner of this game. I just really hope. Thank you very much, everyone, for an amazing game.
Right, and that is it for our final tribal council. So, or final cast call as we call it here. So, we're gonna ask you guys to all get off the Zoom. Jury, please go make your votes for a winner, and we'll be back when we do have all the votes.